What is the true political situation of the country called Kenya as we speak? I will tell you my opinion. The true situation in Kenya today is that we are waiting for the inevitable. And when will this inevitable happen? It will happen when the right trigger triggers it off. And at the moment, the government of William Samoei Ruto is busy triggering all over the place. And so it is just a matter of time. In other words, the inevitable can happen at any time. Now we have greatly simplified a lot of politics happening in Kenya. A lot of people speaking different things. Politicians, as usual, hiding their true intentions and motives. We have taken all that and I have simplified it for you in those very brief remarks that are our precise position as we speak. And let me go ahead and prove to you that very simple summary. Yesterday, close aide, a former advisor of the former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, appeared on Spice FM, and he was very clear that the Jubilee Party has issues with the stand Azimio has taken. Reading between the lines, for avoidance of doubt, former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has issues, is not happy with the recent Azimio move concerning the bipartisan talks. And that does not mean that Uhuru Kenyatta has left Azimio. No. It doesn't mean that Murathe has left Azimio. No. Okay? But what it means is that this bipartisan talks report has split Azimio right down the middle. That is the reality. And so far, Azimio is still intact. But we all know that these cracks, these major disagreements are not good for the long-term health of any grouping or organization. Things may remain intact now, but then the future becomes unpredictable. And so we can say, in other words, that the entire Mount Kenya region is not happy with what has happened concerning those talks that got Kenyans off the streets at a time when maandamano, to put it in a Kenyan way, ilikuwa imeanza kushika ilikuwa imeanza kushika vizuri sana. Meaning that those maandamanos, had they continued, may have led to the kind of change Kenyans are looking for. But all that is now water under the bridge. So we have to look forward. And I'm afraid, looking ahead, the future is gloomy. And it looks pretty dangerous to me. And I'm going to analyze it in detail, break it down, simplify everything, so that we're all very clear. But first, allow me a minute for an important message from Kumekucha Chris. Now, about 2 years ago, a member of our Kumekucha family came up with a suggestion that at first I was very nervous about. He suggested a biannual gifting, a gifting every July and every December, which was designed to be a boost to me and the work I do on this channel. Despite my skepticism, because money is a very sensitive issue, it has saved the day for me very many times, on numerous occasions. Anyway, today I want to avoid kizungu mingi. Okay, we have reached the season once again after a very difficult year. It has been difficult for all of us, but I'm very grateful, to Almighty God for His protection and His provision. Have a chance to support the channel you really love. I'm very grateful to those of you who have consistently supported me and the work I do. You can see details on the screens right now. Thank you so much in advance, and may Almighty God bless you and replenish your storehouse. Now, we live in a world which encourages us to complicate things rather than to simplify them. And in the process, we lose the opportunity to communicate. We lose the opportunity to clarify things which may not be very clear. And a very good example is what is happening politically around us right now. It is very difficult to get to the crux of the matter. Very difficult. We have supporters of Raila Odinga on one side who believe Raila Odinga can never go wrong, and who right now are mostly unaware of the very difficult circumstances this legend, patriotic legend of the country called Kenya, is facing. Many people are completely unaware. Allow me to give you a quick example of why simplifying things can save the day, can even save a life. Somebody I know very well went to see a doctor. He had swollen feet, he was getting constant headaches, he was just feeling sickly. Now, unfortunately, our doctors, like many of our other professionals, are trained to look at things from a complex point of view, okay? And to explain it with ile kizungu mingi wamesomea, okay? Simplifying things for most is the wrong thing to do. I mean, you've spent all those years in college. Why waste them by using simple language? You use complicated terms of the profession. And true to form, this doctor who saw this friend of mine did all the tests. And all the tests of the big suspects he had in mind came back negative. Guess what the doctor did next? Alilete kizungu mingi. When they'd have simply said, I'm sorry, I don't know what is wrong with this man. I can't find anything. And this man was given some medication and he went home and he did not feel better. In fact, it just got worse. And then one day, totally by accident, because they didn't have an appetite, they were not eating much, they saw somebody selling watermelon somewhere. And they had a piece of watermelon. Minutes later, they started feeling better. To cut a long story short, their problem was very simple. They were not drinking enough water. Now, this is a true story. It actually happened. And indeed, those of us on this channel who are older, as you get older, the ability of your body to tell you you're thirsty diminishes. And therefore, it is very important that you drink a lot of water daily, at least 2 liters. It will solve magically most of the problems you think you have. And that's a very valuable tip. I hope it helps many, many people. And the good doctor, very qualified with all his experience, could not detect this very simple problem. He was looking for more complicated issues which were not there. But for purposes for this video, I also hope that that story has illustrated exactly what I'm trying to get across. There is magic, there is value in simplifying things. And the same applies to we political analysts. Now, there's been a lot of analysis over this National Dialogue Report Manenos. There's been a lot of analysis and reports, but all of them have been missing one key thing. And that key thing is something called timelines. We're talking about a referendum. We don't even have a functioning IEBC. How long will a referendum take? 1.5 years to 2 years minimum. Now, based on the problems facing Kenyans currently, 3 months is way too long, let alone 1 year or even 1.5 years. Because some people have said the direction Raila has taken, in accepting to sign will ultimately get us to where we want to go. And if you ask me, I totally agree. But there's only one problem: timeline. How long will it take? As a matter of interest, the last time Raila Odinga embarked on this kind of strategy, it took him about 1 year. Maybe we should briefly talk about that. The downfall of KANU in 2002, where Raila Odinga played a major role, has often been talked about. But what many people have not touched on was the strategy employed by Raila at that time, which sounds very similar to what is happening currently in this national dialogue manemos. You see, in 2002, as Kenyans were preparing for the general elections, Raila did something that baffled many people. He merged his National Development Party, NDP, with KANU, the hated KANU party of Moi. And the new animal that emerged was briefly called New KANU. But then shortly after that, it was just called KANU, meaning that NDP had just been swallowed by KANU and vanished. And Raila Odinga became the Secretary General of KANU. And some people said he had made the move so that Moi supports him as his heir, because everybody knew that Moi was leaving power at the end of 2002. But to cut a long story short, Raila Odinga led a rebellion within KANU, and led quite a number of very influential politicians out of KANU into a new party called LDP, which later merged with Mwai Kibaki, Kijana Wamalwa, Charity Kaluku Ngilu and the rest to form a formidable opposition that swept Mwai Kibaki and that coalition, the National Rainbow Coalition, into power. Fast forward to the present. What some people are saying is that the priority is to get a working IEBC that both parties are happy with. And then after that, even if UDA refuses a referendum, anything can happen, because you have a functioning IEBC. With no functioning IEBC, the advantage is with Ruto. That should be obvious. Now, even if that plan works, the issue here is timelines. Because where Kenyans have reached right now, even 1 month is a long time. A lot can happen within 1 month in Kenya today, politically. But if you ask me, in the spirit of simplifying everything, the problem we have here is that Raila's hands are tied, and powerful forces are at work. Is it a coincidence that shortly after it has started emerging in Kenyan politics, that former President Uhuru Kenyatta is a very major force in Kenyan politics, holds sway with millions of Kenyans who love him? Is it really any coincidence that shortly after that, somebody launches an investigation into the Eurobond of 2014, and then, even before those investigations start, immediately floats the name of the Kenyatta family as the main beneficiaries of that Eurobond? Is it any coincidence? And by the way, for those who have been following this issue for a long time, that was not the main beneficiary of Eurobond. They were not. Which kind of supports my point in that there is a political objective in that move, which further emphasizes the point I'm trying to get across, that Raila Odinga's hands are tied. He is very limited in his political moves. That is the reality. Now, a lot of this information is very sensitive. It is very well covered in my weekly intelligence briefings number 116, and I'll give you details later on how to get hold of it. And therefore, my friends, the very, very bad news we have to take in, and absorb and digest is that the powerful forces that are against the people of Kenya, that are for their own selfish gain, have won this time round, and they seem to be winning despite the chaos, high cost of living, etc., unfolding in our country, because they have considerably slowed down Baba, and now it seems they are dealing with Uhuru. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that is our precise position today. It does not mean that it is all over. It does not mean that the war is over. No. All it means is that currently things are not going so well for the side of the long-suffering mwananchi of Kenya. And to add insult to injury, President William Samoei Ruto was quoted recently as saying that statistically, actually, the cost of living has gone down. Yes, he actually said that very clearly, mchana, which illustrates just how this government has completely lost touch with the common man, completely lost touch with the reality on the ground, which is very sad and also deadly for any political outfit. Now, weekly intelligence briefings number 116 is out, and this is also the perfect opportunity for those who follow this channel, but are not yet members of my weekly intelligence briefings, to become subscribers. And the very latest special offer is the year when the Kumekucha brand was launched, 2005 in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. That is the year the Kumekucha brand was launched, in May 2005. And therefore, for the next 48 hours, you can become a subscriber of my weekly intelligence briefings for only 2005 Kenya shillings, or $15 only. You can get a full year subscription to my weekly intelligence briefings. Now, the information in the latest WIB 116 is highly sensitive, but it explains a lot. You'll be able to totally understand why our politics right now is the way it is, very confusing. You'll also be able to totally understand the recent puzzling moves of one Raila Odinga. Therefore, take full advantage of this offer. You can see details on your screens right now, repeated in the description area below on this video on YouTube. Please act right away, and remember, as you do so, you're also supporting me and the important work I do on this channel. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.